All right, so I would follow along the steps on your packet as we're going through this so you can see how we're doing it each step. So looking at step 1, write the equation in the form x squared plus bx equals c. Right now it's equal to 0, because remember, the whole point is we're trying to find those x-intercepts when y equals 0. But we want to get it equal to c. What is our c value right now? What is it? Negative 32, yeah, look at the sign from it. So we want to move it to the opposite side of the equal sign, so what's the inverse of negative 32? Add 32 to both sides. So remember your c is your constant, it's the number by itself. It doesn't have x next to it, it doesn't have x squared. So make sure all of your constants are on the right side of the equal sign. So that would cancel out. Now when we rewrite it, we want to make it so I'm going to draw little boxes. So when we do complete the square, we want to add it to both sides. So I'm going to just put an empty box here so I know that's a little place value. And then 0 plus 32 is 32 plus, and then I'm going to put another box. So when you do the practice, it's up to you. If you want to draw those boxes, great. If you don't need to, you get to choose that. I'm just doing this to show you that's our little placeholder. And then if you could get out 2 highlighters, I'm going to color code a couple things. So if you want to use mine, I'm going to use pink and green. All right, so step 2, we need to find b divided by 2 squared. So b divided by 2 squared, what is our b value? 4. So remember, b is whatever's next to x. We have 4x, so b is 4. So 4 divided by 2 squared. Now, break it down. First, solve what's inside the parentheses, because we're going to use that number for factoring. So what is 4 divided by 2? 2, and then what is 2 squared? 4. So highlight that 4 in one of your colors, and then let's also highlight inside our boxes, and then we're going to put 4 in there. So just trying to show you where we put that 4. So whatever you get for b divided by 2 squared, that's what you add to both sides. So.
Thank you.
All right, then we have to factor it. Your number that you get for factoring, so like going back to what we talked about, it has to be a number that, what number multiplies to give us, or what numbers multiply to give us 4 and add to give us 4? 2 and 2. So instead of having to think about that, it will always be this number when you did b divided by 2. See how we got 2? It'll always be that number before you square it. So you won't even have to think about it if you remember that. So x plus 2 squared equals, now so a common thing people forget is notice how up here we have 32 plus 4. Don't forget to add those together. So what is 32 plus 4? 36, and then I want to go back and color code this. So highlight those 2's. So again, so that you don't even have to think about what number you use to factor. It's always that b divided by 2 value. That will always be the number you use for your factored form. All right, then step 5, take the square root of both sides. Because now we need to solve for x. So we need to get rid of the squared. All right, now this is where you're going to have 2 equations. What is the square root of 36? 6 and negative 6. Remember when we were before break, it was like plus or minus 6 or positive or negative 6. So now we create 2 equations. The square root of x plus 2 squared is just x plus 2. So we're going to write that twice, x plus 2. That stays the same. And then we put it equal to positive 6 and negative 6. So don't change, like I'll see some people put x plus 2 and x minus 2. No, that doesn't change. Just what it's equal to is positive and negative. Then solve both your equations for x. So if it's plus 2, what's the inverse? Minus 2, which I'm running out of room, so what is 6 minus 2? 4, so x equals 4, and then over here, now another thing, a lot of people assume that the other answer will be negative 4, but that's not the case because it's negative 6 minus 2, negative 8. So don't assume they're going to be like opposite numbers, like 4, negative 4. That's not the case. All right, so this would mean it has two solutions. So if we were to graph it, where would we see 4 and negative 8 on the graph? What are the solutions to quadratics? The x-intercepts. I don't know if I still have it from my last class. Yeah, I typed it in. So if you go back and use Desmos to check it, x equals negative 8, x equals 4. So remember, this is another method to find our x-intercepts. Okay, now let's do one more example in here. X squared minus 6x equals 7. So step 1, write the equation in the form x squared plus bx equals c. Do we have to move anything around? Nope, so this one's already in that form, so now we can go to step 2, find b divided by 2 squared. All right, what is our b value? Negative 6 divided by 2 squared. And what is negative 6 divided by 2? And what is negative 3 squared? Just 9, yeah. So it'll always equal positive because remember, a negative squared is positive, a positive squared is positive. All right, so then color code. So this 9 is what we have to add to both sides. So go back to our equation, and we're going to add 9 to both sides. X squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 7 plus 9. So we want to add that 9 to both sides. All right, then we need to write it in factored form. We already found the number we need to use for factored form. What did we get when we did b divided by 2? Negative 3. So remember, this number is what you're going to use for factored form. Negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. Negative 3 plus negative 3 is the negative 6x. So x minus 3 squared equals, and then combine your like terms. What is 7 plus 9? 16. All right, go back to your steps. Now we're on step 5. What do we have to do for step 5? Square root of both sides. So again, it cancels out. So whatever you have inside the parentheses, that's what you're going to use on both your equations. So we're going to have x minus 3 equals, x minus 3 equals. And then what is the square root of 16? 4 and negative 4. So one's equal to positive 4 and one is equal to negative 4. And then just solve for x. So if it's minus 3, what's the inverse? Plus 3, so what's 4 plus 3? So one solution is 7, and then we add 3 on both sides the other. What's negative 4 plus 3? Negative 1. So this has two solutions. The x-intercepts are 7 and negative 1. All right, go ahead and go to the second page in your packet and start on number 3.